Okay folks, this is a test everybody wanted to see, but nobody was stupid enough to do, so it falls to me. This is not going to be fun. It's not a fun gun to shoot. Hey folks, it's Bruce with Pocket Guns and Gear. We're out here to do a special test today. We'll be testing the Seecamp 380 with 3 different ammunition types. We've got Winchester's 85 grain silver tip, Federal's 90 grain Hydra-Shok, and we're also going to do Hornady's 90 grain custom XTP. I'm going to do a 5-shot chronograph test on all 3, or see what kind of velocity we get. We're also going to be looking for keyholing because the barrel is just about 1.25 inches with the chamber loaded with a round in it. And then I'm going to try and get 1 shot of each through 4 layers of denim into the clear ballistics gel block. So there's no sights on this gun. It's more of a point and shoot kind of a pistol, but it's really concealable, very easy to carry. I've actually shortened the distance to 4 feet for this test, so hopefully I can actually get on the paper, not shoot the chronograph, and get a clean test done. We're going to start with the Winchester silver tip 85 grain. We had a high of 851, a low of 839, an average of 848. All right, we are set up for the Federal Hydra-Shok, which is a 90 grain. Probably see less velocity, but who knows. I've always found these to run pretty quick, and other small 380s. A high of 847, a low of 830, an average of 842. Hornady Custom, loaded with the XTP bullet. And failure to extract. I wonder, these are really light. High 777, low 716, average 741. One thing I want to show you, there's all this talk about keyholing. I'm not seeing evidence of keyholing. This looks bad because it's taped and it ripped the tape as the bullet went through. These bullet holes look very sharp. It may keyhole farther down range, but within 4 feet, which is in my opinion, the effective range of this pistol with no sights, I don't see any evidence of keyholing. I realize there's some people that may be viewing my videos for the first time with this one. So basically here's the setup. I'm sitting back 4 feet, firing over the chronograph, hitting into a block of clear ballistics gel that is very closely matched to 10% ordnance gelatin. But it is a synthetic gelatin, so I don't need to worry about temperature control. Prior to going into the block, I've got 4 layers of 14-ounce denim. So in other words, the heavy clothing test, which will be placed right in front of the block. So I'll kind of be shooting blind into the block. Hopefully I can get all 3 shots into the block. This is a 16-inch block. I've backed it up with a 3/4 block, so that's probably 28 inches of gel, just in case these rounds go full metal jacket and over penetrate, which I'm going to pretty much guarantee they will. I would be surprised if we see any expansion, but at least we'll know. Alright, if you remember from the velocity test, the Hydra-Shok was the fastest, heaviest bullet. Basically the velocity came in very similar to the Winchester, but it's a 90 grain bullet. So given a choice between similar velocities, I will always go with the heavier bullet, hoping for a little bit extra penetration. It's only 5 grains heavier, but when you're dealing with these micro guns, every little bit helps. So first shot will be with the Federal Hydra-Shok 90 grain. Of course, the impact velocity was 823, which is much slower. This one's going to be the Winchester Silver Tip 85 grain. And that one was a curve breaker the other way, 863 feet per second. So that was one of the faster shots. Hornady Custom XTP 90 grain. Ah! Ah, I can't believe it. 3 shots all right next to each other. Oh my gosh. 689 feet per second. That is by far the slowest round of the bunch. It's just random. Sometimes you get a fast one, sometimes you get a slow one. You can't predict it. I don't think we had any corruption from the Denim flying back on the chronograph, but I will have to check the video and make sure. Okay folks, file this under if you're going to do potentially stupid stuff, at least make sure a camera's going. This is going to be the contact shot. And I think what I'd like to do is get 6 inches away from the gel block with the Federal Hydra-Shok, which is my new choice over the Winchester Silver Tip. That's why we test, is to discover new things. And I think I've discovered I like the Hydra-Shok better. Even though it is a little heavier, I did get better penetration, no expansion from anything, so that's not a bonus. Alright, high speed's rolling. I'm gonna load up one Hydra-Shok. Get my little shooting mat real close. Not going to catch velocity, not interested. I am interested in seeing what difference, if any, it makes to be bad breath distance away from the target. Alright, so I would say we're a foot. Wow, lucky it stayed in the block. The front of the block is covered with powder. Oh, it didn't stay in the block. Son of a gun. I could see that it veered to the left and actually hopped out of the block just at the end of its travel. Left a little ding on the backer board and is somewhere in the berm. Ah, there it is. Came to rest just behind the camera on the ground. And that is a pretty good expanded Hydra-Shok. I don't know about you, but I'm not satisfied with that. It's bullshit. I'm gonna see if I can get one expanded in the block, not hopping out of the block. All right, give me a chance to reload. I'll be right with you. Ugh. All right, again, super close. I don't even know how far away we are. Just want to get it into the block, have it stay in the block. Wow, that was scary. That's interesting, because as I was on my little mat, I heard something go whizzing by my head, and I thought it was the bullet. But the bullet is definitely in the block. So, I'm not real sure what that was. Okay, so denim. Basically, on that test shot, we did not get expansion. We did get penetration to the back of the block and a little bit of bounce back, so I'll be able to tell which ones are which. So with that, I am done. Very mixed results today, but cool. Okay, this is the recovery of all three. We've got Winchester Silvertip, Federal Hydra-Shok, and Hornady Custom. Just a quick look with the white background. Not looking at the wound channels so much as debris in the wound channels. What's interesting is there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. They all started dropping their denim at approximately the same point. And then ultimately we've got our 3 bullets. Here is the Hornady, which went the least farthest, Winchester Silvertip, and then way out here we've got the Federal Hydra-Shok. So I'm going to swap this out for the black background, and we'll take a look, a little bit more detailed look at the wound channel. Black background, you lose a little bit of detail on the debris in the wound channel. Not really very exciting wound channels. They all look very similar. They all have a kind of full metal jacket profile, except the Hornady. The Hornady actually tumbled, and when it tumbles, it turns sideways, and it rips that gel. And then you've got these temporary stretch wings that are very large, but the permanent wound channel just kind of runs down the center of that. So again, it looks very impressive, but ultimately they all look very similar after about 6 or 7 inches through the block. So I apologize, it's very busy, but there's our Winchester Silvertip. There's our Hornady. Hornady actually rotated 180 degrees. I probably think it did a 360 plus a 180 based on what we see here. The Winchester was very consistent, just had a small stretch cavity and then a permanent wound channel. And then right next to it we've got the Federal, which actually came to rest with its nose pointing back towards the front of the block, but I don't really see anywhere in the wound channel where it actually turned 180 degrees, so it may have just spun a little bit. Okay, we've got the ruler up. We've got all 3 wound channels tracking behind this clear ruler, and really what we're most interested in is catching some measurements. The Hornady Custom made it pretty much to 12 inches. The Winchester Silvertip made it to 12.5 inches to the very front of that bullet. Gotta keep moving forward so you can see it. 12.5. And then the Federal Hydra-Shok made 14 7/8 inches to the very farthest point of the base of the bullet. And again, we talked about the Hydra-Shok coming to rest base forward, so spinning 180 degrees. So even though they didn't expand, they all penetrated really well. I mean, 12, 12.5, and 14 7/8. Alright, we're looking at the 2 wound channels with the point blank shots with the Federal Hydra-Shok. What's interesting, and I want to show you this, there was so much powder accumulated on the front of the block that I've never actually seen powder flakes dragged into the wound channel before, but that's exactly what happened. That bullet hit that front of the block I mean, I hope you can see. All these dots are unburned powder flakes. And that's how much unburned powder is popping out the front of that Seecamp barrel. And they actually get dragged down into the wound channel. So we're halfway down the wound channel. And we see all those flakes of powder. Okay, this is the one that exited the block. Exited right here, and we actually caught a still frame of it from the video. It did actually expand. The one that didn't expand, it's right above it. Again, it was a point blank shot. Did actually expand. It just didn't expand very much. And you can kind of, there's the hollow point cavity, and you can see that it's trying to expand. It just didn't have enough velocity to fully expand. I really didn't know what to expect when I started this test this afternoon. Originally I had the Winchester Silver Tips loaded, and coming out of this test I'll definitely be running the Federal. Not sure how long this test is going to run, so let me just start with hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to do so.